Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. That is Jack. I am Conrad, and this is the 45. We're looking at not so stupid transfer ideas and some perfect windows. This time up, West Ham United. Bit of a disappointing season. Barely, avoided relegation on 39 points, 10 wins, 9 draws, 19 losses. Good enough for 39 points. As I said, 49 goals scored. That's good for 10th in the league. 62 conceded. Also places them in 16th. Strange season. David
Yeah.
Moyes came in December. Obviously, he's an experienced Premier League manager, but they were poor defensively. I don't know if urgency is the wrong word. You didn't see a lot of urgency. Middle of the pack on goals. Maybe they got the wake up call from the relegation threatened, but from a talent perspective, this is clearly a top 10 side.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we saw it kind of in that Watford match. They kind of flexed their muscle and they said, we are not a relegation threatened team. We have way more talent than that. I mean, people were talking about this team as a top half Premier League side before the season started, and obviously the wheels fell off on that. Moyes comes in halfway through the season, so you wonder some moves, maybe they can bounce back next season, but there are clearly some problem areas that they may want to address this summer with their limited funding.
Yeah, they are. They will have not as much to spend. Last year, they spent $100 million on 3 players, and it didn't really do all that much for them. Obviously, I think they've got a long-term need at left back, somebody to attack from the middle of the park, and then some steel defensively in the
Yeah.
back. Start out with Rico Henry. A lot of conversation on this one. It's a $2 million value from transfer market. They're probably going to want a lot more than that.
Yeah, Brentford have had a lot of their players that have been being poached by the top division sides. Enrico Henry, another one. They were very good defensively. Him overall as just a fullback is very good. 23 years old. He's got that long-term potential. He showed a lot of ability throughout the entire season to be a dependable option on that left-hand side. And he's pretty affordable. I mean, obviously he's not going to be too expensive because he hasn't made a huge name for himself in Europe yet. And if they can have a good deal with Brentford, I think this makes sense. Young had a very good season in the championship, one of the best left backs in the championship. And I think he possibly is ready for that jump up and could offer them a different option at left back for a left-hand side that with Felipe Anderson not doing too well forward, Arthur Masuaku, Cresswell back there as well. They've had a lot of different turnover on that left side, and that was a problem area that I think they're going to want to address heading into next season, starting with Rico Henry, obviously.
Next up, attacking mid, Morgan Sanson out of Marseille. They
Yeah.
want a decent amount of money.
Yeah, and he is a very talented midfielder for them. I think he does everything kind of in the game very well for them, and would be a good option alongside Rice in that midfield. He 5 goals, 5 assists in 27 appearances in a curtailed League One season, and he just does everything very well. 2.5 tackles, an interception per game. He has a very good all-round feel to him, and at 26 years old, a good amount of experience as well in Europe. He kind of makes sense. Now, £25 million, that's where you have to ask, is this the most pressing need? But I think that he would be a great option because originally we had this penned down as 2 signings and then keep Declan Rice. But I think keep Declan Rice and then make 3 additions would be a perfect window because with Chelsea making other moves elsewhere, it looks like they were the front runners to sign him. So he may be staying for another season, and that means that if you can pair some more midfield, real good talent with him, especially with Mark Noble reaching the end of his career, they did sign Thomas Suchek, who I think could be a very good option, but obviously having some depth is not a bad thing, especially in what's going to be a very packed Premier League season.
Indeed, I think it's going to be compressed starting late, a lot more games, and then you've got all of the competitions alongside that. So, but I do agree. If they can keep Declan Rice, that would be the move of the season if they were able to manage that. And we did have him going to Chelsea in our Chelsea perfect window. But next up, Eberechi Eze out of QPR. Good return, 14 goals last season, 8 assists, 22 years old. They want 20-ish. That's a bid from Palace, so there's competition here.
Yes, that's going to be. It may have dropped a little bit from Palace, so they have some serious competition. So, in my eyes, they are going for 2 championship caliber players, but these are both guys who I think are ready to make the step up as well. He's 22 years old. He had obviously a really good return, especially for a 22-year-old in a pretty competitive QPR side. And the thing is, QPR have got the personal terms down. They got a deal agreed. So I think West Ham have to make a very late hijack for him if they are to be able to pull this one off. But I think it would be a very good signing for them. Pablo Fornals kind of was a bit of a flop after being signed last season for around $30 million. So having competition for him would not be a bad thing. And I think it could really offer them options for an attack that was just average last season, scoring the 10th most goals in the league. And he would be a good option, again, long term, could potentially help you have some more options. Because I think another thing we saw was complacency and just lackluster performances from the team, that a lot of good depth could kind of spur some better performances. And if somebody's off form, you got a quality option to replace them. So I think Etse would do a very good job in doing that.
So that'll do it for us for our West Ham perfect window. Let's hope they can keep Declan Rice. Please like, subscribe, give us a comment. Look for us on the Twitter at the 45. For Jack, this has been Connor. This has been the 45. Take care now.